All right, so the difference between 8.6 and 8.5 is the fact that there's an equal sign, and because there's an equal sign, you're going to get a solution. So I am going to teach you to figure out what your denominator is. So our denominators of the first fraction are 3x minus 5, and the second fraction, they are x minus 2. So you can see there's nothing in common, there's nothing to factor out. So we're going to multiply the entire fraction by 3x minus 5 and an x minus 2. So you're going to multiply each piece. So this goes to the second fraction, also is going to go to the first fraction. So watch. We're going to have 20 times 3x minus 5 times x minus 2. And I like to call this clearing of fractions, and you're going to see why I call it that in a minute. And this is going to equal 5 times 3x minus 5 times x minus 2, all over x minus 2. At this point, this is where the fractions clear away. 3x minus 5 cancels with 3x minus 5, leaving you 20 times x minus 2, an equal sign. The x minus 2 cancels with the x minus 2, leaving you 5 times 3x minus 5. Now look, it's a simple multi-step equation that you've done forever. So you distribute, so you get 20x minus 40 equals 15x minus 25. We're going to subtract the 15x to get 5x minus 40 equals a negative 25. You're going to add the 40 to get, I'm going to move over here, to get 5x equals 15. Divide by 5, and then x will equal 3. But here's the thing. You have to come back up here and look to see if this 3 will make either of your denominators 0. So if we put a 3 in here, it would be 3 times 3 minus 5. That would give me 9 minus 5. That would be 4. So we can use that one. And here, if we put it in, it would be 3 minus 2 equals 1. So they both check out. We're checking to see if they're 0 because you can't have 0 in your denominator. If you have a 0 in your denominator, it makes it undefined, and you would have to reject this x equals 3. So we didn't have to reject it. We're good. We can move along. Here we have two other problems, problem 1, problem 2. We're going to take one at a time. So if you have problem 1, 3 over x plus 2 equals 6 over 3x plus 8. First thing, is there anything that these factor out, anything you can reduce? There's not. So we're just going to clear the fraction, again, by multiplying the whole thing by x plus 2, then 3x plus 8. Right? So this, and when I say multiply the whole thing, it gets multiplied into the second fraction and the first fraction. So we get 3 times x plus 2 times 3x plus 8, all divided by x plus 2, equals 6 times x plus 2 times 3x plus 8, all divided by 3x plus 8. We are now going to cancel. Now we simply have a multi-step equation. So 3 distributed in, so you get 9x plus 24 equals distributed your 6x plus 12. Subtract your 6x. You get 3x plus 24 equals 12. Subtract your 24. That's not your 12, I'm doing it in my head. Subtract your 24 from both sides. 3x will equal a negative 12, so x will equal a negative 4. Again, go back up here and look. If you put in a negative 4, I'm going to do it in this crazy green. 4, negative 4 and 2, that would give you a negative 2. Negative 4 would be negative 12 plus 8, which would give me a negative 4. They're not 0, so these check out. This is the solution. All right, so take a minute, pause here if you need to. I'm going to select it all and minimize it so I can do the next problem. Maybe. So I minimized it. It's still there. All right, next problem. We have a x plus 2 and an x minus 1. Well, they're not the same, so we're thing by x plus 2 times x minus 1. Again, that goes into the first fraction and the second fraction. And remember, and I didn't say this before, but if you want to multiply this like a fraction, just put it over 1. Numerators times numerators, denominators times denominators. Okay, this will give us a negative 6 times x plus 2 times x minus 1 all over x plus 2 equals a negative 12 over x plus 2 x minus 1 all over x minus 1. Cancel what we can cancel, so the x plus 2's cancel in the first fraction, the x minus 1's cancel in the second fraction, and then you're going to distribute. So negative 6 times x is negative 6x, negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6 equals negative 12 times x is negative 12x, negative 12 times 2 is a negative 24. Multi-step equation, plus 12x plus 12x, so 6x plus 6 equals a negative 24, minus 6 minus 6, 6x will equal a negative 30, x will equal a negative 5. But you have to check your denominators to make sure you don't have an undefined fraction. So if we put this negative 5 back in here, this would be a negative 3, and negative 5 back in here would be a negative 6. So both check out. We're good. Negative 5 is your solution. Moving on. Now here we have terms that don't. We have two terms and nobody has a common denominator we can add together. If you really, really, really wanted to, you could say minus 8 over x minus 8 over x. You get 11 over 3 equals a negative 22 over x. You could do that if you wanted. You don't have to. What you could do is also just multiply through by a 3x to clear the fraction. So you're going to multiply the whole thing by a 3x because 3 is over here, x is over here. Put it over 1, numerators times numerators, denominators times denominators. So this is going to give you 3x times 11 over 3 equals a negative 22 times 3x over x. Cancel out what you can cancel here. The 3's cancel here, the x cancels, and you'll notice that you have 11x equals a negative 66. Divide by 11, and x will equal a negative 6. Still check to see if your denominator is undefined. If we put a negative 6 in here, it's just next. It'd be a negative 6. It doesn't go to 0, so this is a solution. Now this one's a harder one. First of all, we have to make this to a fraction, so put it over 1. We want to clear all the fractions, so we're going to have to multiply. Well, here we have an x plus 3, here we have a 1, and here we have an x plus 3x minus 4. So what I'm going to multiply everything by, and here there are 3 terms. Sorry, I keep moving it. Here there are 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. There's an equal sign, so we're going to get an answer. So I'm going to multiply the whole thing by x plus 3 times x minus 4. Now, I'm going to distribute that to all 3 terms. Let's see what we get. We get x, 3x plus 5 times x plus 3 times x minus 4 all over an x plus 3 equals, double equals 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 4. That's over my 1, which doesn't have to be, but it is right now. Plus 8 times x plus 3 times x minus 4 all over x plus 3 times x minus 4. Alright, so now I'm going to get rid of the fractions because at this point I can cancel things out and my fractions will simply go away. And I will be left with 3x plus 5 times x minus 4 equals 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 4 plus 8. No fractions. Now we're going to have to FOIL, solve, collect like terms. This is a big multi-step equation, but we can do it. So I want you to FOIL here. I want you to FOIL, then distribute here. Okay? So stick with me. We're going to FOIL. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 4 is negative 12x. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. Equals. Leave this 2 out here, put some parentheses. We're going to FOIL. X times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Let's see. Here we get 3x squared minus 7x minus 20 because we combine like terms. And over here, distribute the 2. So 2x squared. This is actually a negative 1x. So minus 2x minus 24 plus 8. All right, combining like terms. If you're okay with doing this, let's do this. It's negative 24 plus 8. What's that going to give me? That is going to give me a negative 6. Okay, so now I'm going to solve. I'm going to say minus 2x squared minus 2x squared. And since this is x squared, everything's going to need to come over to the left-hand side. We're going to need to set it equal to 0. We're going to need to factor. So this will be x squared. We're going to then add the 2x. This is going to be minus 5x. We're going to add the 16. It's going to be minus 4. Oh, I would have liked to have done that in a different color, but whatever. So equals 0. So then we factor this. This will be x minus 4. Will it really do that? All right, so I just went back and looked at the notes. They wanted this to be a 3x minus 5 on the top. If you get to this, the only way to solve this is to use the quadratic formula, which, if you remember, is x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Here's the book screwed up because this should be a negative 5. It's not, so that's where we are. We're going to do the next problem. All right, let's look at the first one. What I multiply to get rid of all the fractions is a 4x. So we have 4x times 11 over 4 minus 3 times 4x over x equals 5 times 4x over 2x. We then have to simplify. So here the 4's would cancel out. In the second fraction, the x's would cancel out. Here, this 2x cancels with the 4x and leaves a 2. So in the end, we have 11x minus 12 equals 10. That's what we have. So we'd add the 12. We get 11x equals 22. So x equals 2. If we plugged back in anywhere with the 2 up in the denominator give you a 0, it would not. So this is our solution. All right. I'm going to have to do the last problem on another set of notes.